They can be hard to avoid, and when you hit a pothole, you can cause thousands of dollars worth of damage to your vehicle. But don't hold out for the state or town to pay. Tonight, we take a look at the antiquated law governing potholes. They're back in all shapes and sizes. Potholes ready to deal serious damage to your car.
Couldn't avoid it. Car on the left hit this pothole and took out my fog light, my front tire, and the rear tire.
Aaron Gelinas finally hit this pothole in Andover after successfully avoiding it for weeks.
We have to get 4 new tires.
How much is that going to cost?
Potentially up to $1,000, $1,500. If we need to get new rims, that's going to be a more significant cost.
Direct Tire in Watertown is servicing 10 to 15 vehicles a week damaged by pothole hits.
And this isn't a bad year. 2 years ago it was a lot worse.
Lots of ripped rubber.
The impact is right here. And what happens, you can see there's probably a 4 to a 6-inch gash here. And that just opened the tire right up.
It can blow your budget if you're hoping the state or town will pay for the damage. The colonial-era law governing potholes or other defects in the way says you have 30 days to file a claim. In Boston, you'll pay a $15 filing fee, but the chances that you'll recover any money are slim to none.
Unfortunately for consumers, it's a miserable law. Across the board, the municipality or the state is going to raise the claim of what's known as contributory negligence. And if you are 1% at fault, you get 0% recovery.
There may be a hole in their road, but because you hit it, you're partially at fault. So call your insurance company. But unless you have significant damage, repair costs will probably fall below your deductible. Your best bet is to avoid potholes altogether. And the Waze community-based traffic and navigation app can help. When the Waze pothole alert pops up, you'll know to proceed with caution. It could save you a costly problem.
In our era of budget deficits and complaining at the state level about the costs of government, it's very unlikely that this law is going to change anytime in our lifetime.
You should report a pothole if you see one so it can be repaired. And you can do that online in many cities and towns, including Boston. For state roads, you'll want to contact MassDOT. Leslie Gatus, NBC Boston.